Do you have a fear of something that you just can't explain why? Could it be from a past lifetime? Hi, I'm Karen Kubicko, and today I'm going to share some examples from some of the people who've come to me for a past life regression on how they found their root causes to their fears in past lifetimes. I had a woman come to me. She had a fear of being attacked. She is actually a caregiver in this current lifetime, and just the nicest thing, but she had this weird fear, she said, of being hit in the face and attacked for no apparent reason. There was no reason for it in this current lifetime. She did not have abuse situations happening when she was growing up and as an adult. I took her into a past life regression, and then she became aware that she had 5 past lifetimes connected to the fear of being hit in the face like that. So we asked the question, well, what were they? And she was able to get the answer that 3 of the instances in her past lifetimes, she was in a war situation where she was kind of shockingly killed in a sense. And then in 2 other lifetimes, she was brutally attacked and killed. So in 3 lifetimes, attacked and killed and hurt in some kind of way. And that's connected to her fear in this current lifetime of being attacked. We were able to go to just one of those lifetimes. Now, sometimes it's good to go to all of them, but in this instance, just visiting one was enough. And sometimes your spirit guides or even your subconscious will protect you from what you're not ready to witness, re-experience, or understand quite yet. So keep that in mind. But she was able to remember one of the past lifetimes, and in that lifetime, she was in a war situation. The past lifetime she went to was like the root cause of this fear that then got compounded in these other lifetimes where she was attacked, and then that fear was compounded, if you will. So then in this lifetime, she has no frame of reference. She just feels like she might be getting hit by surprise in some form or fashion, and she doesn't understand why. So in the lifetime she went to, it was a war situation. She's out on the battlefield. She's a male in that past lifetime. She went to a time where she was in the northern part of Europe, kind of like Norway, that type of area. And there was some skirmish or battle between clans or something along those lines. And she had remembered this very big mallet square weapon that kind of looks like a meat tenderizer that was pretty big, dark wood, and she was getting pummeled in the face, and that is her direct connection to her fear in this current lifetime. And so we were able to do forgiveness work, forgiving the wood, forgiving that person for hitting her, forgiving herself for being part of the battle, the people she was working for to be part of that group, herself for even being there to begin with, and the pain and suffering, anything that she stored, the trauma, the shock, the worry, the concern, all of those things that were connected to that, allowing that to be released so she could forgive and release that trauma so it no longer bothers her in this current lifetime. So remember to hit that like button and subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I had another woman come to me. She had a fear of flying. And so I thought this one was kind of interesting. She remembered 3 different past lifetimes connected to this. It was very unique what she remembered that was connected to her fear of flying. In the first memory she had of herself as a young boy, and this little boy was maybe 4 or 5 years old. He's outside playing, he's watching the birds and seeing them fly. Now, he happened to live near a cliff-like place. That little boy believed full on, if those birds can fly, so can he. So he walked over to the cliff's edge and dove off thinking he could fly, and died. That was a first instance where there was a connection or a root cause to her current fear of flying, because she thought she could actually fly because she saw those birds. Now, she's a little kid, so we did forgiveness work. He didn't know, You're a child. You think you are invincible and can do anything at that time. We forgave the birds and everything else connected to that as well to help her really fully resolve that experience. In the second lifetime that she remembered, she was in the Second World War and she was a pilot. She was in a plane and she described it as being like a dark gray color. And she was part of a skirmish and didn't survive. Her plane got shot down. And so that also is another root cause of her current fear of flying. The third past lifetime that she went to help resolve her fear of flying was interesting and unique because it had nothing to do with actually being in or around a plane or flying, but it was a past life where she felt out of control. In her past lifetime memory of this man, she was captured for some reason, stuffed inside of a burlap sack, and then tossed over the side of a cliff and died. And so, for whatever reason, that feeling of being out of control connected to that past lifetime and her current fear of flying. Because when you're up on an airplane, sometimes people, the root cause of that fear of flying is that they're not in charge, they're not the one flying the airplane, they're out of control with the whole situation careening across the sky. But she was able to do forgiveness work with all these lifetimes to help resolve that fear and fear of being out of control, that type of thing. And hopefully that has resolved for her completely at this time. I had another woman come to me, same thing, fear of flying and being out of control. But she remembered very different lifetimes. In the first lifetime that she remembered, she was a Native American male. She was in the middle of doing a meditation where she had an out-of-body experience. But during the time that she was out of her body, she got killed. And because she was out of her body, already kind of like separated from your physical body, because of how deep in meditation she was as that male in that past lifetime, she made a soul level rule. The rule was, it is not safe to let anyone else in charge or in control of my physical body. I feel like whenever she remembered this lifetime, she was able to see a lot of people getting killed during this ceremonial meditative state that she was in. And, we did forgiveness work to the people who were supposed to be in charge of making sure she was okay, for herself, for her body, for making that rule and releasing that rule from her to help her heal her fear of being out of control. And then she went to a space where she could talk to her spirit guides. And there she was able to talk with them. What else do I need to heal or resolve about this fear of being out of control and her fear of flying? And so they said to her she has had several military related experiences. And she did not have to go experience or re-experience those past lifetimes, but just having the knowledge that the reason that she felt like she was out of control, which then got directly connected to her fear of flying, is because she felt out of control. She was not in charge of her life and forced to be part of these military actions that she did not want to be part of in those lifetimes. And that feeling of, I'm not in charge of what I want to do in my life, I'm not in control of my life. She was just being told what to do, and she had no say in that. Contributed to her fear of being out of control. So then we forgave all those military experiences. She did not have to re-experience any of those past lifetimes, but the knowledge of it was enough, her spirit guide said, for her to make that connection, to have a resolve. And so we did some forgiveness work. I'm telling you right now, that is the best way to receive some kind of healing on a deep soul level. But she did some forgiveness work for all these things that she maybe could have done something different in those past lifetimes, forgave all the wars, forgave the people who were in charge that told her what to do, forgave herself for participating in those wars, and let it go in a sense, in a very deep way. And if you'd like to get to the root cause of your fears in this current lifetime and you have no way of understanding how you've gotten them in this current lifetime, maybe they're in a past life. And you have a couple choices here. I have some guided meditations, one to take you to a past lifetime so that you can remember whatever it is that might be connected to your current day fear. If you want to go a different route, stay to the end. I have a link to a guided meditation to help you connect with your council member spirit guide. They're the ones that helped you pick this lifetime, and they'll be the ones to help you know where your root cause is for anything that's troubling you in this current lifetime. Lots of love and light to you.